Hey guys, MegaAntiCheat here. Since the Anticheat entered open beta, we have collected over 46,000 demo files from our users. That's 46,000 games worth of data at our disposal, ripe for analysis. I've developed the first cheat detection algorithm, and I've used it to gather the clips you saw in the intro. That's right, the Anticheat is doing the thing it's designed to do: catch cheaters. I want to walk you guys through how I caught these cheaters, diving deep into some relevant technical aspects, and also some of the obstacles I've had to face. At the end, I'll do a live commentary on a case that I haven't analysed before, so you guys know this isn't just some scripted shenanigans. I won't be revealing the Steam IDs of these cheaters just yet. There's a lot more work that needs to be done to prevent demo file manipulation and other potential attack vectors, but that doesn't affect my ability to test the cheat detection algorithms against suspicious behaviour. Since part 2, the majority of the work has gone into this project here, Analysis Template Rust. Bit of a boring name, but contained within this repo are the foundations for the cheat detection algorithms. Let's dive into how this functions. As a refresher, the entire premise of the Anticheat is to collect demo recordings from users, scan them for cheaters, and inform all the Anticheat users about the convicted cheaters. To achieve this, we need to convert this garbage in the demo file into something we can actually understand. We need to parse the demo. Thankfully, demos.tf has open sourced their demo parser, so I integrated their parser into a template that my algorithms can be built upon. I had to modify their implementation a bit so that multiple algorithms could be used without needing to parse the demo multiple times. If you're poking around in the code yourself, look for these files: cheat analyzer base and demo handler base. These contain the modified demo parser that I based off the game state analyzer that demos.tf provides. That's just boilerplate stuff though. The real star of the show are the algorithms. In the template, I've provided a few examples that you can use as reference if you want to try your hand at building your own algorithm. Most of these are for debugging use. All messages translates literally everything from the demo file into a massive text file. However, most of this information is pretty useless. Maybe one day the cheaters will find a way to exploit Jak XP level up, but that seems unlikely. Only a small percentage of these events are relevant for cheat detection, so instead of having to manually parse that data, the most commonly used info is parsed for you. Things like players' positions, view angles, whether they're dead or alive, etc. are stored in a cheat analyzer state object, which every cheat detection algorithm has access to. Write to file dumps the cheat analyzer state for every tick to a JSON file, so you can inspect how these variables change over time. Each line represents one tick. View angles to CSV dumps the positions and view angles of all players into a giant CSV file that you can inspect. I recommend using LibreOffice Calc with very large spreadsheets enabled, as these CSVs do get incredibly large. I've used these spreadsheets in testing, and sometimes you can spot suspicious flicks just by looking at the numbers. However, the most interesting algorithm in the template is view angles 180 degrees. Previous examples were development tools, but this is an actual cheat detection algorithm. I wanted to provide a functional example without compromising anything sensitive, so I thought, what's the most blatant thing I can detect? Turns out that rage hackers and spin bots frequently flick 180 degrees in a single tick, as you'll see when we get to the examples, so I wrote an algorithm to detect that. If you want to look into the template, perhaps experiment with making your own cheat detection algorithm, this example is a good place to start. There's plenty of supporting comments to guide you, links in the description. However, I know most of you are interested in the results, so let's dive straight in. After creating the first cheat detection algorithms, I initially tested them against some example demos I had lying around. But what I really wanted was fresh data, something I hadn't already used to assist in development. As luck would have it, I came across a cheater in a game of Cashworks. During the game, the chat was calling him out, and I did notice a few suspicious flicks, but I couldn't confirm my suspicions while playing. Thankfully, I was recording a demo. Now this demo is 137,000 ticks long, about 34 minutes. And I could scrub through the entire demo looking for suspicious activity, but I don't need to. I have the Anticheat. Within 3 seconds, the Anticheat scanned the entire demo file and found 2 instances of silent aim. One at tick 116,194 and another at 126,753. All we have to do now is go to those points in the demo and confirm if these detections are accurate. You might be wondering how these demo files can be played back. Demo files are essentially a record of all the data sent from the server to your client as you play the game. To play back the demo, TF2 interprets the data in the demo file as if it's network traffic coming from a game server. In effect, the game is playing itself. However, this doesn't give us everything we need. Using the demo UI, we can only see the demo from the perspective of the recorder, as the demo records only the stuff they see. Thankfully, there's a workaround in the form of a long-forgotten feature of TF2. Way back in 2011, the replay update introduced replays, recordings of your games that could be downloaded from the server and edited by the player to create clips of their favourite moments. Unfortunately, this feature was very neglected. Official servers don't support replays, neither do community servers, with very few exceptions. The replay editor is incredibly buggy and tedious, and the achievements related to replays haven't worked for years. Internally, replays are just demo recordings recorded by the server. They're so similar, in fact, that with a tool like Demore or Bash's demo to replay, we can trick the game into thinking this demo recording is a replay, and thus load a POV demo into the replay editor. From here, we can inspect the demo from any camera angle we wish, including from the perspective of other players. Spy has a gun, oh my god.
What you're about to see is captured entirely in the game engine.
Let's go through the usual process I follow when inspecting a demo. The first thing I do is press Shift F2 to bring up the demo UI. This is the fastest way of navigating to the points of interest. The first of which is at tick 116,194, so I'll go to 116,000. You can't rewind a demo recording. If you want to go back, the game has to reload the demo and fast forward, which can take a while if you're reviewing a long demo, so it pays to start early. Then, I slow the game down to between 10 and 25% speed. The replay editor is buggy as hell, so to actually apply the chosen playback speed you have to click the third person camera, then switch back to first person. Finally, I figure out which of these players is the suspect, in this case it's Sniper as Spy, then I hit play. Let's see what happens. So, there was an obvious flick there. I think we can agree this is blatant aimbot. However, even if it looks obvious, it always pays to have more evidence than you need. Let's see if the second detection is as blatant. Here we have another pretty conclusive case of silent aim. Notice how each time a bullet fires there's this tiny little flick towards the target, and then it immediately snaps back to where he's actually aiming. If you're not familiar with how silent aim works, let me give you a quick rundown. It's a variant of regular aimbot where the cheater doesn't perceive the snap at all. From his POV, he just clicks wherever he wants and his camera does not snap, but he still hits the target. However, from our point of view, we do see the snap for a single tick. The reason it's called silent aim is that these flicks never used to appear to others. But since July 2015, silent aim was patched on hit-scan weapons, so now we see these flicks whenever it's used. I know I said I wasn't going to reveal Steam IDs, but since I recorded this demo, I know it hasn't been manipulated in any way. So here you go. It's not like it matters, this dude got game banned anyway. Here we have a cheating heavy. The Anticheat found 42 examples of silent aim on this guy, and looking at the footage, yeah, it's pretty clear what's going on. The reason his camera is flicking so hard is that he's got his aim FOV turned way up. Cheaters have a circle on their screen that surrounds their crosshair. When a target is inside this circle, the cheat will lock onto them. Outside the circle, they get ignored. This is the same thing as the SMG clip, just with larger flicks. The same thing is happening with the pyro in this clip, except it's even worse because the flamethrower fires every second tick, so half the ticks are where the cheat is actually aiming, and the other half is silent aim kicking it. Also, why the hell do you need aimbot on a flamethrower? Jesus Christ, can't you just WM1 like the rest of us? And before people say this is just him moving his mouse back and forth really fast, let me show you what that actually looks like. Here we have another demo from the Anticheat. This one caught my attention because it's a false positive, triggered by a pyro flicking their flamethrower back and forth. If we slow down these clips to roughly the same speed and put them side by side, you can see the legit pyro's movements are much smoother than the cheating pyros. There's about 7 or 8 ticks between the start and the end of this movement to the left, well within the realm of human possibility. Watch, I'll do it myself. This movement was about 5 frames in a 60 FPS video, which is equivalent to 5 or 6 ticks. That's how I know this is legit. Now let's look at the cheating pyro. Every second tick, the cheater's flamethrower fires and the silent aim kicks in, causing a 30-degree flick to the left. Then a tick later, he goes 30 degrees to the right because the flamethrower is technically not firing, and he does this over and over. We can use the view angles to CSV function in the Anticheat to see the raw data behind each of these flicks. This column represents horizontal movement, and look at how it goes positive, negative, positive, negative. Those are the flicks. If you can move your mouse that fast, let me know what performance enhancers you're taking. Moving on to someone who actually knows how to use silent aim as intended, we have another pyro, this time with the Dragon's Fury. What I find funny about this clip is that the first shot is almost exactly on point, but that shot must have consumed all the cheater's remaining skill, as the next 2 shots rely solely on the cheat to hit anything. What I like about this footage is how subtle some of the detected shots are. Let me replay that clip again. It's easy to slow a clip down and say, that's obvious. But at full speed, it's easy to miss. In fact, I'm willing to bet most of you guys didn't even see the flick with the flare gun. Yep, go back. Here it is in slow-mo. And yes, the Anticheat detected this too. This demo's filled with a bunch of small, subtle flicks that only become obvious when slowed down. And all the ones I've shown here were picked up by the Anticheat. Only a trained eye would be able to spot this in-game. Now, you might have also noticed that the scout spontaneously disappeared for a few frames. What's all that about? Let me show you another example. In this demo, we've got a ray-tracking sniper. However, the nature of demo recordings makes it difficult to study some of the shots. Demo recordings have several unfortunate limitations that limit our ability to investigate. The biggest limitation is the potentially visible set, P.V.S. If you've ever played with matte wireframe on, you've seen this in action. The P.V.S. is basically the set of all areas that you may be able to see from your current location. These are calculated during map compile time, and for larger maps it can take quite a while to calculate. The benefit is that when you're moving around the map, your computer can quickly identify which areas it can get away with not rendering. Notice how as I round these corners, the wireframes pop in and out of existence. Unfortunately, this means that anything that occurs outside of the P.V.S. isn't captured within the demo file. Normally this isn't an issue, as typically demo recordings can only be viewed from the POV of the recorder. Replays, on the other hand, are expected to have data from the entire map, as server-side recordings are not affected by P.V.S. But since we tricked the game into treating our POV demo as a replay, we are going to spot gaps in the data as we watch the demo from other players' perspectives. For instance, in this shot, we cannot see the target at all. If we keep playing the clip, we can see the target and his sentry pop into existence as they enter the recorder's P.V.S. We also experience weird phenomena when the player we're watching leaves the P.V.S. Not only do they stop rendering, but the server stops sending us information on the cheater's position and view angles. That results in their perspective freezing during playback, and they remain frozen until they enter the recorder's P.V.S. again. This stuff's important to go over, as any suspect may be able to see something that the recorder cannot. Thankfully, we can still see flicks clearly enough, and this sniper is no exception. If you're using the Anticheat and you really want to make sure you're collecting high quality evidence, just stand next to them for a little while. You don't have to do that though. As long as you're playing in the same game for long enough, you should be able to collect enough evidence to detect a cheater even if you're not aware of their existence. Sometimes it's not the demo recording that causes confusion. Sometimes it's the cheater themselves. You'd think a cheat would be 100% reliable, but sometimes they do the most nonsensical things. I found a cheater on Ioduct playing Gunspy of all things, and every time he fires his gun, he spazzes out. Every shot causes him to face straight up for a single tick, and I have no idea why. Since I don't understand what's happening in this clip, I will wait for further evidence before taking action against this particular dude. Let's have a look at another demo. This demo isn't from the Anticheat, but it's one of the demos I used to develop the cheat detection algorithms. Despite this, the cheat detection algorithm actually performs quite poorly on this. When I first developed the algorithm, most of the flicks you're seeing on screen were picked up. However, there were a lot of false positives as well. Half the server had at least one detection. One particular case that proved frustrating were respawning players. As a player respawns, there's a chance the game will just not update their view angles for a few ticks, and then they will flick into the correct orientation in a manner that just so happened to trigger one of my cheat detection algorithms. That particular case was easy to filter out, but other cases aren't so straightforward, which means in filtering them out, we will also fail to detect some actual cheaters. Thankfully, when cheaters cheat, they tend to cheat throughout the course of the game. So even with all the filtering I've implemented, the Anticheat picked up enough to incriminate both cheaters in this game. And to wrap up the intro clips, what better way to end than with a clip of a lone rage hacker. This guy was detected twice for silent aim, but the real star of the show here is the 180-degree flick algorithm, which detected 118 examples of such flicks coming from this bot. Now, if any aspiring bot hosters want to fill the current void with bots that do 179-degree flicks instead, go right ahead. Any effort spent defeating MegaAntiCheat is effort not spent on trying to bypass valve zone protections. A war on two fronts. I'm sure someone's going to claim this is a cherry-picked sample, and you'd be right. If I had the whole thing working, this video would be Bot Crisis Part 3. I'm just trying to give you guys a taste of what I've been cooking. But to finish off this video, we're going to do a live commentary on a case that I haven't analysed yet, just to see what happens.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Hey guys, MegaAntiCheat here from the future with a live commentary. So here we are, this is the database. I'm going to go to the analysis and I'm going to get all the data we have. These are the Steam IDs, I'm going to censor them for reasons I've already discussed. I'm also going to censor the session IDs because there is somehow a security vulnerability. I don't want you guys pulling random demos or doing random things. So let's do a silent aim one. I'm going to go for this one. So I'm going to copy this ID. Alright, I've downloaded the demo. Next step is to run it through the Anticheat. Alright, so now I've got my cheat detection project, so I'm going to do cargo run. And paste in the path. And okay, so this first guy is our main target, 7 silent aim detections. That's probably going to turn up something interesting. And now let's go into TF2. So this tick's about, well, this demo's about, Jesus, this is quite a big one, about 200,000 ticks. Our first instance is at 44,000. It's 2 forts, no wonder it's so long. Alright, I've identified the dude in question. They appear to be a medic, so 44,630 is the tick in question. This is the guy. Let's slow it down. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Okay, there was a bit of a snap there. I'm not sure what that was, but it was straight as it was coming out of P.V.S, so it could have been anything. Alright, let's play. 262. It's a moment of interest. Okay, there's a little snap there, tiny one. Not entirely sure what that was. This is a big flick apparently, about 15 or 20 degrees. So let's see what happens. Okay, that was coming out of P.V.S. That could have been anything. Alright, we're coming up on the next detection. I think this is going to be another case of the spawning. Oh no. Oh, that was interesting. I don't want to rewind just here because it's going to take forever, but yeah, that was definitely an interesting flick. That was a tiny little flick. Yeah, it's probably going to fire 2 rockets in a row. Oh, yep, that was... Yeah, you can see those pretty cleanly. There was definitely something going on there. Are there any more detections? No, that's all the detections on this guy. So, what's my judgment? Let's go back to the... So she shoots up, and then... accidentally locks onto that guy down there. Yeah, that's pretty... That's pretty blatant. So that... plus the things we saw at the end, at around here. Yeah, I'm pretty confident this guy's a cheater. Alright. Positive result. I'm very happy about that. I was worried when half of them turned out to be like false detections, but or just like network jank, but some of them did turn out to be positives, thankfully, so yay, live commentary successful. That live analysis went better than I expected. In retrospect, many of the shots I initially dismissed were snapping to potential targets, so they're likely also silent aim. But it always pays to start with the most obvious detections and work from there. Why waste your time on difficult to analyse shots when there's a smoking gun later on? Before I leave, I have a few announcements I want to make. First, the Anticheat client has been updated. You can check the description for the instructions in the download link. The new client contains some bug fixes and some new features, such as these broadcasts that appear on the sidebar. They'll be used to notify users about system maintenance, future anti-cheat updates, and any other pertinent info. Second, I've opened some new TF2 servers. In addition to the usual one that runs most vanilla maps, I've opened a VSH server, since it's basically impossible to find a vScript VSH game in Australia. And I've also opened a third server for all the meme maps you guys like to play, containing everything from TF2ware to the Wega challenge. The server IPs are in the description, but if you want to know when they're active, I suggest subscribing to the activity pings in my Discord, which is also linked below. And third, I'll be live streaming immediately after this video finishes premiering, so if you've got questions or just want to hang out on the TF2 server, join us! Don't worry if you miss out though, I stream during the weekend. That'll be all for this video. Thank you all for supporting the Anticheat, especially those of you who have used it. It may not feel like much, but every bit of data counts. All the footage from the Anticheat I showed in this video was recorded by someone like you. Maybe you'll appear in a future video. The next steps for the Anticheat are streamlining the human review process so that you can all participate in this sort of analysis, set up a few endpoints on the server so you can see convicted cheaters right in your clients, make a few security improvements, then we're basically done? Who knows? This project has been enough of a rollercoaster up to this point. Choosing to take on the remainder of this project solo was an incredibly difficult decision, so I'm really happy that it paid off this well. Can't wait for the next major milestone, but until then, have fun catching cheaters.
Welcome back to the Joe Rogan podcast. Today we have
5 new
from
stabbings
BBC.
in Birmingham.
I can't believe it. Look at your hat, you're part of the BBC. My name is Richard Hammond, and I'm interviewing James May.
Alright,
The
cut.
Anticheat's an
Cut.
exit scam.